remember that scary maze game from God knows when?
It was like a decade ago. Thanks for making me feel old.
Well, if there's one thing we learned from it, is that mazes suck. And there's no one alive stupid enough to try and traverse them while being chased at the same time.
Except for one man. Or rather, one Pac-Man.
Pac-Man! This is the Backrooms.
And that jingle right there spawned an entire industry. Meet Pac-Man, a pizza missing a single slice, that somehow became the forefront for the entire genre.
Not much has really been discussed about his backstory, so we have very little idea on who he is or why he loves eating the spirits of the damned.
But hey, he has a wife, kids, best buds with that guy from Dig Dug, and even owns an own plantation of power pellets.
Hailing from the lovely and very creatively named Pac Village within Pac-Man, Pac-Man is a carefree protector from the evil ghost, and his society is literally built around subjugating by consuming whole, which is kind of fucked if you think about it.
He is a... whatever he is, he has a superhuman physique, able to jump to astounding heights, bounce like a basketball, roll up like a hedgehog, and even hover for a short amount of time.
He can swim across the entire ocean within a couple minutes, run in place for a bit to peel out with super speed, and summon fire hydrants, fruit, keys, bells, and ships from Galaga.
But if anyone plays Pac-Man, you already know he has more to it than just being a walking yellow orb. By busting out a smaller yellow orb, he eats it and becomes... Pac-Man, but except now he can eat literally anything.
Most famously, this allows him to interact with ghosts and kill them, but he can also eat Mini Coopers driven by Adam Sandler and grew large enough to eat entire buildings.
Pac-Man's power pellet isn't the only weapon at his disposal.
There's plenty of other pellets he could use beyond that. The Shrink Wall pellets, which let him shrink. The Chrome Power pellets, which turned him chrome and prove his world has no concept of good naming. And the Ribbon Loop Power pellets, which let him create a ring of energy that will annihilate anything inside the ring. And Sonic totally ripped this off for Frontiers.
The Super Pac pellets allow Pac-Man to become Super Pac-Man, which gives him the same exact abilities but at a larger scale. You think he's compensating for something? They don't wear clothes, so we all know he doesn't have a pack.
Anyways, regardless of that, he has demonstrated a surprising amount of stamina and determination. He's managed to make it through 256 levels of non-stop mazes in the original game, beat up an entire island of ghosts in a single day, and is the main antagonist of a Kamen Rider film for some reason.
He really does pack a punch. If you're not careful, and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in.
Man, Stephen King wishes he could match this level of the horror this rating gives off.
Now, we're going to be using the Kane Pixels interpretation by virtue of it being A, more recognizable, and B, not whatever this is. So the Spock notices that the sky is called async, made a parallel dimension using magnets.
That being said, they did not know the dimensional space they had created was already occupied by sentient funguses, and not in the funny Mario way. These were horrible toxins which would slowly kill anyone who entered without protection, which turned out to be rather common given its shockingly easy to no-clip out of reality itself.
Now, given that it's an entire separate pocket dimension made out of the worst paw paper known to man, the Backroom's full size is, most likely, infinite. But if you want to get technical, Kane based it off the original copy pasta, so you could make the argument that there's 600 million miles of endless rooms in this godforsaken place. On top of that, the place is always shifting around, so any map you find is probably going to be worthless.
And even if you were somehow able to figure out a way from the most infamous location, the complex, you're still not done, as there are many levels of them. Next would be the gallery, which is an art gallery without any of the art, aside from destroyed chairs that pretentious people would probably consider to be genius commentaries of modern art. Then there's the forest, which, as the name implies, has wallpapers of trees and such, alongside random forest props and a completely flat house for some reason.
There's the neighborhood, which is a large group of houses bathed in red light. Though instead of finding Mr. Rogers, you'll probably find an entity mimicking someone to try and kill you. And finally, the pool rooms, which are a bunch of pools dedicated to swimming. as if public pools didn't have enough bacteria in them.
Speaking of which, you might think it's creepy to walk around in these places, but good news, you're not alone. Bad news, they want to murder you. So the entities, or life forms in this universe, are sentient patches of bacteria growing here that grow from patches of fungus on the ground. They're capable of mimicking human speech to draw in victims, which is good for them because they will literally eat you. Also, Siivagunner might be on here somewhere, but that's unknown.
They're extremely tall and lanky, but unfortunately basketball doesn't exist in the back room, so that's probably why they're so pissed off all the time. Nonetheless, God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby in the back rooms, because they sure as hell has heard you. Well, Pac-Man survived. Now you're probably thinking, the back rooms are infinite, how do you find the exit? Well, Pac-Man's maze has no exit, and he got out anyway.
Now first of all, yes, the backrooms are shown to be very dangerous to the normal humans that we see traverse them. However, Pac-Man himself is on a level beyond any normal human. His endurance and determination are unlikely to shake in the face of this. He literally had his entire family get kidnapped on his birthday, and he still managed to work through it with a smile. So it's unlikely he'd be too bothered with the existential dread the backrooms inspire.
The bacteria could give Pac-Man a massive issue to deal with, since Mr. I Eat My Problems Away would not have to eat the monsters and escape before the bacteria kill him. However, since Pac-Man will eat anything from Galaxians to Ghost, one of which is a dead guy and one of which is a literal alien, there's no real evidence to argue that Pac-Man, or his entire species for that matter, would be affected by bacteria or would be considered food for them.
Finally, Pac's assortment of power-ups were something that would definitely be devastating to various monsters. Whether that be blowing them away with shockwaves, annihilating them with energy rings, or turning into metal to make himself a way less appealing target. You can freak him out, throw him in the lion pit, borrow his hands and tell him he's not here, but he's a mad Pac-Man living in a leveled world.
This fiction fight's winner is... Pac-Man!